That it seems I'm down again. Another knife in my throat to gnaw with a grin. I never once imagined it would come to this, although you told me so. So tell me now what I already know. Son, my words are heavy like stone. They'll either fall to the ground or separate your flesh from your bone. 'Cause when the silver lining is gone, you're gonna come back to me. 'Cause there will be no place to run. Good naming, man, only time will tell. I talk a lot to myself and getting to know me pretty well. But if there's one thing in life I know, one thing that I could describe, is that oftentimes there's more than what meets the eye. Son, my words are heavy like stone. They'll either fall to the ground, separate your flesh from your bone. So when the silver lining is gone, you're gonna come back to me. There will be no place to run. And there's more to that song, but I just wanted to perform a little piece for you here since we're talking about songwriting. That was a song that I wrote called No Place to Run. And that's what we're going to be talking about, friends. Welcome today, January the 26th, the Guitar Show. Today we're talking about writing your own song. So excited to see you guys. So the things that we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about the key and why that's important, that understanding of that, what chords work in a particular key, how to know that for any key. Talking about ideas and idea books. We're going to talk about melody, vibe, finger picking, strum, may even get into a little bit of lyrics. We'll see, okay? 3 things for you today. As you know, I have lots of lessons out there. Thousands and thousands of lessons, folks. Yes, 1,000+ lessons inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System, and I think I just looked, and I think we had something like 15, close to 15, over 1,400 lessons on YouTube. Lots of lessons for you guys, right? And so I'm doing my darndest to get you the most content, the best content, et cetera, right? So what I decided to do, I don't know, about a year ago now, and this has been a dream of mine for a long time, is to bring in other artists, to bring in RJ Ronquillo, to bring in Corey Congilio, to bring in Jeff Duke and Robbie Calvo and Joe Robinson and all these greats, all these great guitar players, right? Because so much better for me to find talent for you and bring them in. I know you like the way that I teach on certain things, but you're going to probably get a better education long-term slide guitar from RJ than you would me. I can play slide a little bit, but not like RJ can, so why not bring the guy who really can do it? I can play finger picking. I have obviously just did it, fingerstyle guitar. I was a classical guitar major. So I know about finger picking, but not like Joe Robinson does. So again, what we're doing is we're working with these other artists, bringing them in, creating courses with them, and dropping them. And we just dropped a new course that I want you guys to know about, and I believe it's 83% off this week. 83% off this week. This course just dropped. It's How to Play Rock Rhythm Guitar from Jeff Duke. okay? Yes, I'm a rocker as well. Jeff rocks even harder than I do. So great player, amazing course that he just created here for you. That link is the second link below. So check that out. How to play rock rhythm guitar. That's Jeff Duke. You guys have seen him before. He's amazing, okay? Number one. Number two, I'll mention it throughout the program. For folks that ask the question, especially the basic questions, where it means that you haven't gotten into the course that I give you for free, YourGuitarSage.com/30. It's the very first link below, and it's the top 30-something lessons that I've ever taught, that I will ever teach, ever. I mean, I just know because it's the stuff that I taught tens of thousands of lessons on over the years. And that's available to you for free. It's the very first link below. You know, you can always text me at 833-744-0154 if you have any questions. If you would like for me to get you into that free program, you can type the word free to that number, 833-744-0154. Just text me. Text free, F-R-E-E, okay? If you're in UGS already, you can always type UGS, and that'll just put you in the list there, and then we can get a hold of you if we're going to drop something really cool, like we just did with Jeff's course, okay? I don't know if we texted anybody on that, but if we didn't, we should. Yeah, but we definitely emailed some folks, all right? So there you go. Let's get into it, and I'll be drilling down some ideas for you, and then I'll be getting to your questions. I try to keep it under a half hour, okay, because I really do want to get to your questions. Okay, so let's talk about it. It's writing a song. A lot of people think that this is a subject that is just, way outside the, I see what you're doing there, Dave. That's not where to text the word free. You're going to want to text it to the number that I just gave you, and then you'll get the free course. Cool? But doing it here isn't going to do anything. You got to do it to that number. Okay. Now, people think that writing a song is something that the gods grant upon you, or that God grants upon you, or that you're born with it, or whatever. Nothing could be further from the truth. It is a learned skill just like anything else. Anybody that says otherwise, it just means you don't know. And that's okay. If you're open to not knowing, allowing me to guide you someplace, I'll guide you there, okay? Everything about songwriting is learned, okay? Now, let's talk about it. So, songwriting is, the traditional sense, I should say, is combining chords, melody, and some sort of lyrical content, right? And then there's production and everything else. But like we're just talking about a song, we're talking about the chords, the melody, and the lyrics. As far as copyright law is concerned, they're only considering the lyrics and the lyrics and the melody. They don't care about the chord progression. That's why you can find the same chord progressions in thousands of hit songs and nobody sues anybody. Well, now people are trying to, and it's ridiculous because that's not what the law says, but it happens sometimes. But for the most part, it is the melody and the lyrics. I should say it's always the melody and the lyrics according to the law. However, as we've seen throughout history, law doesn't mean anything if you don't have judges to support it, right? So in this case here, there are people who are getting sued for things that shouldn't be getting sued for. Anyhow, when we're talking about the creative part of it, we also are talking about chords, and we're talking about strumming, and we're talking about a particular key. We're talking about the basic vibe of a song, right? And so these are all things that we'll delve into here today. So many, many different ways to write a song. If you're Mariah Carey, you might just sing, and then you get together with a guitar player or a piano player, and then they say, oh, here are the chords behind that, okay? A lot of people think, oh, well, that person's writing also. Not really, because what she's singing dictates what the chords are going to be. That's why the law does not provide anything for the chords that are being played, okay? So that's one way to do it. You can start with the melody and then add the chords later on. I do the very opposite. I create the chords first, then I create the melody, because to me, it's kind of like if I'm going to paint a picture, I'm going to paint the background first, and then I'll paint the foreground, because the background is going to support the foreground. That's how I do it. There's no right or wrong way. You do what you want to do. Some folks, I can tell from their lyrical content, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I know that Anthony Kiedis must be writing poetry all the time because his stuff sounds very poetic and it sounds like wedged into a song. And I'm not knocking them, one of my favorite bands, but I can tell it's got that flow of, it's very wordy, it's very descript, and it sounds very much like a poem inserted into a song. You can do that as well. Many, 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 many songs that I've written were poems at first and then became songs. Also, the rhyming structure, AABB or ABAB or ABC, ABC, whatever rhyming structure you want to do, is very reminiscent of poetry, right? So it's very similar. You can think about a song lyrically or what have you is a poem without the music, okay? So let's separate those two ideas because, we could, I will give you a little pinch of it today as far as lyrical content, but I don't kind of view myself as being an expert in that per se, but I have an idea. I'm married to a hit songwriter, and I see her day in and day out doing this. I've also written a few hundred songs myself over the years. She's written thousands of songs and had number ones and everything else, so she kind of knows what she's doing. She's written a book on it, and she has a course on it that we're doing. So she knows what she's talking about. She's pretty good at it, very good at it. So I can tell you, let's start off at the top, ideas in an idea book. Usually you don't go to write a song unless you have an idea or an emotion, right? A lot of people, they have a breakup and now they're like, there's their idea. It's like, man, this girl did me wrong, whatever. And then here comes the lyrics. And then maybe there's some phrase or something that they say all the time. And then that might become the song. That's what we call an idea. An idea would be like, he stopped loving her today. You guys know this one. It's one of my favorite songs. It's about a guy who stopped loving this girl. Why did he stop loving her? Well, we find out somewhere into the song a little bit that he died. And that was the day that he stopped loving her. But you don't really get to it until, I think it's the second verse. So then you have that aha moment, and it's pretty amazing, right? Another idea might be, okay, No Place to Run. This song here, I was feeling down about a particular something, probably a breakup or something like that. Maybe a betrayal of a friend or something. I forgot, it's been so long, right? Anyhow, No Place to Run. I thought this was just a great thought that, if you are coming back to yourself, there is no place to run. You have yourself, God, whatever it is that you look at for strength. And then I ran with those lyrics. Okay, well, it's obviously not about fun summer love affair. It's about no place to run. So the lyrics should support that, right? And then the chords and the melody would also hopefully support that. So number one is having some sort of ideas, an idea book, something to work with if you're serious about songwriting. Otherwise, let's get into the main part of it here, which is let's assume you have an idea or you have something you want to write about. That's your idea, okay? Guy walks into a bar. That's another one. My wife had this idea. Guy walks into a bar, right? That idea of it's a joke. Hey, so a guy walks into a bar and da 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 da, right? And then you go, cool. Well, what about that idea? And they're like, well, let's make it to where this guy walks into a bar. He meets a girl. They have a great time. They're in love. Something goes wrong. They break up, and then the guy goes into the bar. And then a girl catches his eye, and then so on and so forth. It's that kind of like round, if you will. So that would be another idea. Okay. So now let's talk about chords, melody, vibe, strum, that sort of thing. We won't talk about lyrics. We did that enough for where we're going today. So when we're talking about, let's talk about key. So 99.999999999 with the line over the last 9. All those songs are in a key. They have a specific key, a tonal center, one particular note, and one particular chord that all the other chords and all the other notes revolve around, point back to, gravitate back to. If you will, it's the sun in our solar system, if it is as they tell us, okay? Which I'm pretty sure it is, I think, I don't know. But nonetheless, that's what we have. We've got melodies, we got chords, and they all rotate around this one particular note. Now, you may not know how they point, but you would know it if it wasn't there, okay? So if I wrote a song here and it wasn't in a particular key, you would instantly know it. You'd be like, why does that song sound like that? That sounds terrible, okay? So the only reason that you don't think that you know it is that it happens all the time. Every single song you're listening to is in a particular key, so why else would you think anything other than that? It's in a particular key, so you're not going to not know what it's like to not hear something in a particular key. I could give you an idea. If I just started this song off and I went... right? It sounds terrible because I'm not following the rules of staying within a key. Okay, so suffice to say, if you know your major scale, I cover this in the first link below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Talk about the major scale, right? It goes like this. Right? We can create this very easily. You can do it right now at home. Take any note. This is a G, but it doesn't matter what note this is. I could just follow this pattern and I could get the major scale. So I'm going to say whole step, which is 2 frets, by the way. Half step is 1 fret. So I start at the note and I say a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay? So if I play a song, or in the key of G, and I'm playing these basic chords that you hear all the time, 99% of the time, I'm going to play some sort of melody that has these notes in it. Cool? All right, good. Now, let's talk about chords. Now, that's true for any key. We take that same scale and you can move it on up. Doesn't matter. Those are all different keys, all different tonal centers. The relative distance between those notes is the same every single time. Cool? Okay. So now, you got the melody, right? Or you have what's known as the melody. If that's unclear to you, get in the free course. I'm giving it to you. I can only help you so much if you're not seeking, right? So what also is dictated is by this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 in a major key is the notes, the chords that are formed by that scale. We can't go into that today because it's a 2-hour explanation. Yeah, I cover it in all my courses, okay? But what is true is that for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, there are chords, major, minor, and diminished, that belong to each one of those chords. And they appear that way probably 95% of the time. Okay? It's not to say you can't go outside of this, right? I use the analogy. Kid paints a picture, kid's playing on a hill, they're flying kites, there's clouds and everything else, and he paints a purple sun. Well, you and I know the sun's not purple. Okay? It's yellow. Right? We know it's yellow. It's not yellow either. It's literally just pure white. But kid draws a yellow sun, we're fine with that. Kid draws a purple sun, we're freaking out, right? So that's artistic license. So we can go outside of this, of the notes and the chords. We can do that. But it's taking artistic license. So it's not going to not catch the ear. Or if you're looking at this great picture that your kid drew and the sun's black, you might go, hey, kid, what's up with the black sun? That's a little weird. Like, do we need to talk? So there's that, right? So it's not going to go unnoticed, but for creative purposes, it might be a cool thing to do, right? Might be a cool thing to do. So there's that. Okay, so now here's what's sure about these chords. Major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7, and back to our major, okay? So the chords are, write this down or rewind it if you need help, major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, and diminished 7. If you write that down and you play those chords based off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, off of your major scale, you have the basic construct of 99% of the songs that are out there, literally, major or minor. Okay? What I mean by that is those are the core materials that it takes to build a house, to build a song, right? So, you got bricks, you got wood, you got nails and stuff. You can see that laying at a construction site. You know what's about to be done. They're going to make a house. They're going to build a house. So same thing here. We got the pieces now to create a song. We got an idea. Now we got some chords. In this case here, maybe we'll do it in the key of G. We could do it whatever key we want. Okay. This song that I was telling you about, it matched everything I mentioned to you as a major 1, a major 4. I'm sorry, major 5, a minor 6, a major 4, and then later on I do this. I throw in a borrowed chord, okay, which again is me taking some liberty, some artistic license to go outside the realm of what I just told you, and I put one chord in there, which is called a borrowed chord, and I borrowed it from another key to create a new sound, okay? That's all. Just creative license. Don't worry about that yet unless you could write a basic song. There's no need to worry about 10th grade when you're a kindergartner, okay? Get that down. And then go to 1st grade, and you'll get to 10th, but earn it, okay? So don't worry about borrowed chords and all that stuff right now unless you're more advanced. If you are, then look at my video, YourGuitarSage Borrowed Chords. Just search that on YouTube. Okay, so all that to say, so we got these basic chords. So this is why G, C, and D work well together all the time, okay? G and C and D, okay? So we got some chords. So what I like to do is I like to then take an idea or the way that I'm feeling, or sometimes I'll just play and I'll be like, well, how does that make me feel, right? This. Like that's very happy to me, but there's something a little too happy about it to me. There's something a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but it's like, to me, it was kind of like this betrayal, which is what the song's about. Lyrically, it's what's about a betrayal. Knife in my back, right? Knife in my throat, and all with a grin. Now it's coming back to me why I wrote that song. So all that being said, you have an emotion, you have something, and you start pouring your heart out. You can do it on paper first, or you can sit here with the melody and stuff. That's the way I do it. Again, there's no right or wrong way. People write songs so many different ways, and they're coming up with new ways all the time. So it's cool. Whatever way is the right way for you. And I truly mean that. There isn't a right way. It's art. That's like saying, well, that's a right color and that's a wrong color. No, it's art, okay? Only narrow-minded people would think that way, right? So if you are, I'm sorry for you, but that's not the way it works. Art is art. It's free. Okay. Okay. So now when we're playing chords, and I could do anything here. If I say, well, I want to be happy. I want to have something in a happy sound. I'm going to put it in a major key. Chances are, right? If I wanted something to be more sad, I might put it in a minor key. So how would I do that? I would start off with the minor, with the 6th minor, because that's the center for minor, okay? Whereas the 1 is the center for major, okay? They share the same sets of notes. They share the same sets of chords. That's called parallel major and minor. More about that, search YourGuitarSage Parallel, and I'll tell you all about it. But suffice to say, for every major key, there's a related minor key. For every minor key, there's a related major key. And those two work together in the same way that we as Americans think maybe politically, right? You got one guy that thinks one thing, and then this guy here thinks something else, and they're like, well, I don't understand why you don't think that. And this guy's, oh, I don't understand why you don't think that, right? They're talking about the same things, but it's, they're talking about the same darn things, but it's the way that they're talking about or the stance that they're taking that determines what they really believe, right? We know this, okay. So that being said, if I want to write something sad, I'll choose a minor key. If I want to choose something happy, I'll choose a major key. And those are the keys that you go to, okay? Those are the centers that you should go to. 6 minor creates the minor sounds. Start with that chord, and then you can go to whatever you want. So for instance, if I'm in the key of G, the key of G has, I'll just play the popular chords. Major 1, major 4, major 5, minor 6, okay? And then there's a minor 2 in there too. But if I just play this chord progression, major 1, major 1, 4, 5, that's pretty happy. In fact, Now I could take the same chords, not the same chords, but the same chords within that key, and I could do something different. So if I go, instead I'll start on that E minor. Now definitely that second one sounded a lot more down, a lot sadder, if you will. It was minor, it's in a minor key, right? So, but still the same subset of chords. What I mean by the same subset of chords is those 7 chords: major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Okay. For the first one, I took the 3 major chords. I took 1, 4, and 5. For the second one, I did 6, 2. I did 6, 2, and 5. 6, 2, and 5. Okay, and that created a totally different sound. So you can use the chord progressions to create a feel. Okay, minor is going to be sad sounding. Major is going to be happy sounding. And that's not really that arguable. I mean, it's just what it does. It lowers the BPM of your heart, literally, and also playing stuff in lower notes as opposed to higher notes. A singer from my band starts out of the gate singing high, and then when he gets to the chorus, he goes up even higher. He can sing in the stratosphere. So that'll keep you up more than someone singing way down here. Say like one of my favorite bands from days of old, Crash Test Dummies. I loved those guys. That guy sang really, really slowly, so really deep, right? So that's another way to do it. Something else I was going to say. Oh, the strum. You know, what you want to do, it's up to you. If you want to do something like, like a reggae beat, Or I could go. These are just different feels. So that's all up to you. So you got to do what you want to do. If you're digging into the strings, it's going to be more aggressive. If you're playing more laid back, it's going to give more of that. If you're finger picking, it's going to even be more laid back. Okay. So these are all little tools in a toolbox that you can pull out that you can use to manipulate the listener's ears, which is your job, by the way. It's not a bad thing. It's your job to do that. If I'm going to go see you in concert, I want you to knock my socks off. I want you to make me cry. I want you to make me laugh. I want you to make me, feel power. Do all those things. You go see your favorite band. You don't want to be not entertained. You want to be moved, just like a good movie, right? So, all right. So that's melody and all that good stuff. Now, what naturally happens? People don't understand this, but what naturally happens is if you're playing these chords, right? If I just play these chords. Let's see. Yeah. Just literally what I'm singing there, nothing that's going to change the world or be a hit song. But I can undoubtedly tell you that every single note that I just sang was straight out of the G major scale, because your ear will guide you there, okay? Your ear will guide you to play the right notes within the scale if you're playing the chords that are strictly for that specific key, okay? All right, then let's talk about a little bit about structure. So usually when we start off a song, there's some sort of introduction. When I was doing this, what I was doing was establishing the tonal center, which is E, okay? I was establishing the tonal center, the speed, everything. It was setting the movie scene, if you will. Every movie starts with a scene to guide you in. You've just come out from your car, where things are real, and now you're sitting down. Not that anybody does this anymore, but if they did, if there were movie theaters and people went and stuff like that, then you were in your car, beep, beep, gotta go get the popcorn, and you're going in and everything else, and now you need a moment to settle down to get into the movie. So they know they're not going to get straight to the script. They have to coax you and warm you up to the idea that, hey, this is your reality now. Same thing with a song. That's just like a natural structure of things, right? Like a first date, right? So here, what I'm doing is I'm establishing the tonal center, I'm establishing the tempo, I'm establishing the chords, I'm establishing the picking pattern, and then I can start singing. That it seems I'm down again. Now I'm singing in the key of E major because that's the key I'm in. Another knife in my throat and all with a grin. Ooh, spooky chord, right? So I put that chord in there because I'm just talking about being down, and then I drop this lyric, man, another knife at my throat and all with a grin. Ooh, what does he mean by that, right? I got this lyric in there that's kind of a, whoa, it caught me off guard. And I throw the chord in there to complement it, right? These are things that, as a songwriter, you can do to exploit your song, to exploit your idea of your song. Okay, good. All right, so we got that. Get that basic idea there, right? So we start off with an intro, and then we usually will go straight into a chorus. A verse. Sometimes songs will start with choruses. There's no specific way to do it. This is just the basic way. The way that's done most of the time is you have an introduction, you have a verse, and then you go into a chorus. The chorus is the big part of the song where everybody sings, and it's usually where the title is, and it gets super big, and the production's bigger there, and then it sinks back down into the verse where you're telling the story. Oftentimes, in a song, you'll have a C part of a song. If the beginning of the verse is the A part, and the chorus is the B part, then you might have a C part, which would be the bridge. Usually the intro is similar to the verse, so not necessary to call that an A or B part. Can be, if you want. All right, so then we have a C part, which might be a bridge, which will take you to someplace totally different. Now for me, what I like to do is I like to start different parts of songs on chords that catch your ear, that tell you definitively we're going someplace, okay? So like this, right? I got this bit going on here, and then, now here I go, second part of the song. And what I did is I went to an A, whereas before, all my chord progression, the chord progression just starts at E every time, comes back around, starts at E, and then for the B section, I went to a new chord because it's going to get your attention, bring you someplace, et cetera, et cetera. Cool? Okay. And then you can do that with a bridge as well. Just that's what I do. You don't have to. There's tons of songs that don't, but the ear wants it to change in some way, a different chord progression, a different style, a different lick, a different chord, something. You know what I'm talking about? Tommy from Ireland just popped in, and 50 euros. Thank you, brother. That is so very kind of you. Friends, if you don't know what Tommy did there, the bottom left-hand corner next to the smiley face, there is a US dollar symbol there, and if you click that, you can donate. And Tommy, thank you so much. It really means so much to us because obviously we do these for free, right? Okay. All right, beautiful. I think we can get into some questions. So let's get those questions ready. And Tommy from Ireland, thank you. That pear or avocado, I think we decided it was a pear. I think that's what Google told us it was, so it must be. A pear riding a giant firework. I love that. You don't see that often. Thank you, Tommy. All right, yes, so let's do this. Let's get into some questions, so go for it. Reefer Man is saying, what is the Don Ho-Ho's? What if you burned your bridge and you want to sing about it? Okay, yes, let's do it. Friends, if you would too, with your questions, all caps, question mark. All caps and question mark. This way, I can assume that the other ones are just you guys talking amongst yourselves, okay? And I'm going to go back just a little bit, just see if anybody had any questions. Oh, Marine Mama, good. She deactivated your Facebook, right? I did that too. I deactivated it all. You guys will still see stuff from me, but as far as me seeing it every day, I've gotten off of all the platforms. I don't care to see any of it anymore. It's just lots and lots of lies and lots of censorship and everything else. Stuff that is not very American. Okay. I don't support that. Never will. You shouldn't either, unless you want to be censored at some point, right? I think it's funny. I think we can all agree on it, but it seems like some people are not, because their guy isn't being censored, and there's all sorts of guys being censored right now, and it seems to be the people that are saying, wait a minute, things don't look right. What's this? What's that? Well, it's misinformation. Is it? It hasn't been since this has been a country. We've been just literally having free speech for our whole lives, as far as I can remember. And now all of a sudden, no. Okay, so Eric, if I have a song that I'm singing and playing slow, can I break off in a finger-style rhythm at double speed between verses once in the song, then slow back down for the next verse? Yeah, you definitely can do that. Look, it's your song. You can do whatever you want. And that's not even a bizarre thing to do, what I'm saying. You're staying in the tempo, you're probably staying in the key and everything else, but you're just changing up the technique, and you're speeding it up, or not speeding it up, you're doing double speed, right? So the tempo is still the same, you're just doubling it, right? So that's totally good, yeah. Okay, could you play a major pentatonic real quick? Yeah, sure, man. Major pentatonic, here's a major pentatonic, okay? So minor would be in the 5th position, major would be in the 2nd position. You start off on that pinky. Now, friend, I've got videos on this. Just search YourGuitarSage pentatonic, okay? And I'll show you much more detail on there, okay? So, serious question. So, would you write the words or have a melody first? Reefer Man, 69. Here is the deal. I've done it both ways. So, there's been times where I wrote some poetry and then I said, man, that's a good line. Like, why not put that into a song? And then it ended up in a song, okay? And a lot of times it will perfectly work that way. I tell you, Judas Priest also did that a lot. I can tell that Rob Halford was writing poetry and then it got inserted into a song, because you can hear it. You know, you can hear it. Sometimes there's a little bit of shoehorning into getting that lyric in there. So there is no particular way. For me, what I like to do is I create, typically my route is, but not always, is I create a chord progression or some sort of motif, some sort of idea, lick, that sort of thing. It's in a particular key, it has a particular tempo, and then that's my structure. And then I go, well, how does this make me feel? God, this is making me feel jazzed. I feel super jazzed. I feel super like up. Maybe it's a funk tune or something like that. So typically I would want to match the lyrics with that. If it was something more sobering like this, right? Then I might write something more sobering. So, but there's no particular way that you have to do it. Same chords for the bridge. Typically not. What I mean by same chords is the same exact chords in the same exact order. No. You want the bridge to take you someplace. Otherwise, it's going to sound like a verse with what's different about it. I guess you need something different about it to make it a different part of the song. Different lyrics aren't really going to do that, because if you're singing the same lyrics over it, or different lyrics, then it could be a different verse. Typically, choruses are the same, and they're done multiple times. The verses are not done multiple times. Most of the time, in 99% of the songs out there, they're not. There are some songs where they repeat it, though. They repeat the verse. It's such a great song that they sing it 2 or 3 times and they get out. But usually not. The chorus repeats itself very often, almost always. And the bridge is usually done only one time, but there are times when I've been in bands and I've heard songs that did it twice. Okay? Even solos. You do not see a pair writing a rocket very often, Jay Beebs. You are right. So when I see it, take notice. It's fascinating. Hi man, I got a song idea. Chords are D minor, F, C, and and G, you're in the key of C major or D minor. So right there, perfect example. Those 4 chords are present in the key of D minor. Those 4 chords are present in the key of C major, right? But watch how I play this, okay? So I'm gonna start off like, let's see, now, I played them in a different order, but I started C major, F, D minor, G. I'll take the same exact chords and create a different bit, a different chord progression. So maybe I would go. And that's in the order that you put them there. That sounds more minor to me because I start off on that minor chord, just like setting a scene for a movie. Now, is that arguable? Sure it is, because it's kind of like trying to, we live in a world that's so polarized right now. This is what we're trying to break free from. But if you could think about like a song like that, what defines whether it's in a major or minor key? It's left to the listener to determine that. I mean, honestly, especially a chord progression like that, because it could be in either key, because all those chords are present in either keys. But what is true is that when you start it off on that minor chord, it's going to lend itself more to that minor sound. If you start off on the major chord, it's going to start off more with a major sound. It's kind of like if walking in this morning, I said, "Mike, how are you doing?" He's like, "I'm all right." You know, if he did that, I would probably think that maybe something was wrong and I needed to probe a little bit further. But if I walked in and, "Mike, how are things going today?" And he's like, "Man, things are awesome," then probably the very first thing that he says is going to determine how he's feeling, right? It's just logic. So, yeah, you're in the key of C there. When you started on that minor chord, the song was still in G major key, right? Again, same thing. It's like, I would say that it's in the key of E minor, but we're talking about the chord progression I did, right? Not Senzo's. So I would say that's in the key of E minor. But as far as the chords and stuff like that, it really doesn't make a difference. It's like, what are we doing with that information? If you're playing in the key, if you're soloing in the key of G major or E minor, they share the same sets of notes. So as long as you're playing the notes that sound good with the chord progression, you could be looking at playing a G major scale over E minor or an E minor scale over G major because they're related, relative major and minor. Okay, if you guys don't know what that is, please watch my video on that, relative major and minor. Search YourGuitarSage, it'll help a ton. Okay, could you play a major pentatonic real quick? Did it. How do you know what chords will sound good with others? Great, Lane. That's what I explained at the first part. And Lane, that means you're not in the free program that I'm giving you today. The very first link below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay. You know this because you know the major scale. I'm assuming that you've gone through the course. So, Lane, once you go through the course, this is going to make sense to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, you have the major scale. You don't know it yet. Maybe you do. If you don't, you got the course for you. And each one of those notes gets a chord. Major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7, and then back to major 1 again, okay? That's how you know what chords you could use together. Okay, now you can go outside of those, but start there. Because if you're not writing songs with that, don't look for some panacea chord that's going to be the magic chord. It doesn't work like that. It does in fantasy, and trust me, I'm always good for believing. I mean, I will entertain any thought at least once. But I'm telling you, for doing this, writing many songs, having my wife write songs, being around songwriters my whole life, just the whole 9 yards, there's not a magic chord that's going to do it for you. Work with those basic chords first, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, these are good questions. These are good ones. Yeah. Jeez. All right. Okay, can you use the same chords in key for the bridge or use borrowed chords? You can do either. I've done either. And usually when you use a borrowed chord, friends, and I talk about this in the videos, right? I'm telling you, this is a really, in fact, it's one of our, hey, how about this? This video that we did on borrowed chords is literally the coolest video we've ever done. It's the coolest video we've ever done. There's some great production in it, and we were disappointed that it didn't get as many views as it should have because we put a lot of love into it. Watch that one. I'm like a detective. I start off as a detective, and it's a lot of fun. But check that one out. Search YourGuitarSage borrowed chords, and I think you'll find it. But look for the guy with the, you know, I'm in all black and white, and I got a suit and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. Yeah. Okay. What's that?
Comments. I'll link to that video.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Mike. So Mike just dropped a link for that in the description. If you go all the way, not in the description, in the chat, go all the way to the bottom of the chat. It should be available there. You'll see Mike or Emmy just dropped that. Okay. My hardest thing is finding melody to sing. How do you find your melodies? You can find them by just noodling through the scale, or better yet, use your emotion. Where's your voice bringing you? So you kind of meander. You're standing right here. I can stand right here, right now, and I can go in this direction, that direction. I can go in any direction I want. And at every single now moment, I can decide to go someplace different, right? Which could bring me to any place all over the world. You do the same thing with melody. You don't like the way it sounds on that note, then try another note. You don't like the way that one sounds, go to another note. Oh, you like that one? Cool. Let's look at the next note. That's how you do it. You literally are just meandering. Pete, can you give us a chord diagram for an intro in the key of A? I don't know what you mean by that, a chord diagram for an intro. I mean, intro in the key of A could be an infinite number of possibilities. So a chord diagram for that. I don't think that's probably what that's probably not the question. The way I'm reading that is probably not what you're asking. So if you come back, Pete, with another way of phrasing that, I might be able to understand it. Do you need to know music theory to write a song? No, absolutely not. You do not. But it's helpful. Okay? How to pick the relevant key for the song. The relevant. You're going to have to rephrase that because I don't know what you mean by the relevant key for the song. If you mean by what key serves the song best, your voice. You know, if you're singing, you get to the chorus and it's way high out of your range, probably not the key. Lower it. Use a capo, you know. Or if it's too low, bring it up. A major 7 is the first chord in my chord progression. Would that be in the key of A? Most likely, Ben, I would need more information. Anybody would need more information. Not just me. I would need to know some of the other chords. But probably, okay? A major 7 is either, it's almost always a 1 chord or a 4, a 1 chord or a 4 chord. If we extend the chords, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, if we extended them, meaning we add another note to them, because the chords that I just mentioned to you are called triads, which contain 3 notes. If we extended to a 4th note, then they would be called 7th chords. And in that case, we have a major 7, minor 7, major 7, dominant 7th, minor 7, diminished 7, or half diminished 7, one of the two. Nonetheless, the A major 7 would either be a 1 or a 4 chord. So you'd either be, chances are you're in the key of A. The next key that I would say you're in, not knowing any of the other chords you're in, is probably in the key of E. Could be one of those, okay? Just had another donation come through. Guys, thank you so much. These donations really mean a lot to us, especially that we do these for free, right? So it really means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Brent. Really appreciate that. Feed the sagettes when the intermittent fasting allows. I just ended my intermittent fast, or actually, I intermittent fast every day now since the 1st of this year. So I do 2 meals a day, and I try to separate those by about 8 hours, but then the other ones are separated by whatever the difference is, 16 hours. So I do that every day, and then now I'm doing this thing where every Sunday night or Sunday evening to Tuesday morning, I fast. So I was just going to do a 24-hour, and then it's like, oh, I'm not going to eat at night and then eat in the morning again. So I would just not eat that night. So it's about a 40-hour fast there. Really makes me feel better. I discovered fasting when I got into college. Super powerful stuff, man. Super duper, super powerful stuff. Okay. Is the new course going to be part of the Lifetime Pro membership? Is it going to be? It is already. So if you're in UGS Pro, then yes, you have it already. No, that one's not.
Nope.
No, the speed picking is, right?
Correct.
Oh, my bad. Jeff's speed picking course is in there. The rock rhythm course is not. How do you find the Strat from the Gibson? How do you find the Strat from the Gibson? How do I find the Strat?
Punchline that goes.
I think there's probably a punchline that goes, I'm hoping. Otherwise, the Strat's usually the one that's in my hands, almost always, although I love my Gibsons too. Ben, you're so welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for the donation, brother. Super kind. Yeah, here's the deal. Let's talk about theory for just one moment. Remember, theory is like, well, it can mean several things, but when we're talking about it as music theory, we're talking about the components or the rules or whatever that people have discovered as to why music works. But remember, music was first, and then people started analyzing it. So it's not like, oh, hey, I found this hieroglyph on this cave, and it says that the related major to A minor is C major. Let's gather that information. Now we know. It doesn't go like that. Music is just music. It just organically happened over many, many years, right? And then but people started analyzing, well, this is what sounds good, or this is what makes it sound like this, or this is what it makes it sound like that. That's what music theory is. So the more you know those things, it's kind of like the more you know, I don't know, if you're a photographer like Mike, you would want to know color theory because you'd want to know what colors work with other colors, that sort of thing, right? How come some frets seem closer together on guitars? You're going to have to get more specific on that. I'm not sure what that means, my friend. What level of guitar playing should one have reached after 4 years of learning guitar? It's a vague question, but can you give me some idea? No, there's not an honest way to answer that because some guy who's played guitar 4 years ago and picks it up once a week for 15 minutes is going to be way behind the guy who's played for 1 year and picks it up every day for an hour. Okay, so it's impossible to say. You would have to have many, many more variables available. Okay, should you avoid too much repetition? Well, Lucy, don't do it. If it looks like you're repeating yourself, don't do it. So if you've heard the chorus enough times, don't play it again. Hold back from it. Don't keep playing that chorus. Okay. Okay. Sorry, that was Greg Ellis. He's picking up my SJ200. Friends, I talked to you about taking care of those guitars. Our studio is pretty dry here, and my beautiful SJ200 has a big old crack going right down the middle of it. Yes, I discovered it the other day. So it happens. It's a real thing. Keep those guitars in a somewhat humid environment. Okay? It's really, really important. So now I get to go get my guitar repaired, and who knows how much that's going to be. Make sure you do it. It's a real thing. It's not a joke. Okay, so if I'm capoed at the 5th standard, what key would it be in? Pilot. What key would what be in? Just because you're capo doesn't mean anything. I can be in this key, or I can be no capo, and I can play in all 12 keys. I can put this in any fret, and I could be in any 12 keys. It depends on what you're playing. So, Pilot, you'd have to tell me specifically what chords you're playing, then I could tell you what key you're in. If you're talking about that D minor, was that you who said that earlier? If it was you who said that with the D minor and all that stuff, then you're either going to be in the key of F major or, well, I don't even know. Let's make sure I've got the right guy here before I go burning brain cells. I do that enough. Can you give a brief explanation of relative major and minor? For instance, Floyd, Comfortably Numb, has a solo in D major B, but they aren't the same scale, just starting at a different note? Yes. So I mention this one all the time. Comfortably Numb is, starts off. Right, it starts off in that big old minor sound, so it's in the key of B minor. But then, there is no pain you are receding. Then they flip to the related major, which is D major. Oddly enough, the related major of D major, or the related minor of D major, is B minor, and the related major of B minor is D major, and that's what they did in this song. They exploit that very much so. In fact, the very first solo is in a major key, the second solo is in a minor key. Pretty cool. Listen back to it, you'll get this idea. Are they using the same notes? Yeah, for the most part, they're using all the same notes. It's the same scale. Different places on the neck, but it's the same notes. If you analyze every single one of those notes, I bet you he doesn't go outside of the same 7 notes. I guarantee you. I don't know that for sure, but if he does, he might go outside for a second, but not a lot. Okay? Hi, I'm going to buy a guitar and start learning guitar, but I don't know which guitar to get. Like to get an acoustic, so what are good guitars for around $100 or $250? Matthias, go to kit.co, /YourGuitarSage, kit.co/YourGuitarSage. Right there. And I'll give you all sorts of guitars that you can buy there for that price. Not all sorts, maybe a couple. $100 or $250, you're probably looking at a used guitar, chances are, or a cheapo. And, you kind of get what you pay for, obviously. No one would expect that a $1,000 guitar is going to play like or that a $100 guitar is going to play like a $1,000 guitar. Would you? Would you actually think that? Yeah. I find myself writing poetry, but here, watch the first and second video once we get into the program of the free course that I give you, YourGuitarSage.com/30, the very first link below. I'll tell you how to find a good guitar, okay? And for those of you that didn't hear me earlier, Jeff Duke has a brand new course. He's one of our artists that we create courses with here. Just created a killer rock rhythm course. The link for that's the second link below. Only if you want 83% off. Otherwise, you'll want to wait till the end of the week, and then it will go up to $60. Right now, I think it's $9.99. Okay? So, your choice. Do what you like. What you got, Mike?
You have a super chat with a question.
Ooh, super chat with a question. Thank you, Mike. Eric, thanks again for all. Could you please explain how to have a melody based on, for example, some notes of C scale packed with nice chords and then moved into next key? Thank you. Okay. I don't know really what you're asking there. Could you please explain how to have a melody based, for an example, on the same notes in the key of C packed with nice chords? That's all subjective, you know what I mean? I mean, I think this sounds great, right? So like... So C major, A minor, F, so that would be a great chord progression, and then over the top of that, you sing whatever you want, right? Now, when you say the next key, what do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean by that next key. We gotta clear that one up. I wish I could just straight up answer that with you. It's very kind for you to donate, but you're gonna have to get a little bit clearer on that, my friend. I'll have to know specifics. Rhythm Bob is saying, I find myself writing the poetry first, but I have to come back and tweak to make the rhythm timing of the words match the music. Any tips? Nope, you're doing it just the same way, Rhythm Bob. Rob, everybody has to do that. When you write listen, when you're writing lyrics without music, you don't have the confines of music, et cetera, et cetera. So when you take that and then you put it in here, now you got the confines. So now you got to mold it, and you're doing the right thing there. So, Mark, you're welcome, bud. I suggest writing a song, Write for the Garbage Can. I say this all the time, Write for the Garbage Can. It was in a book that I had read, and I think my niece probably read the same one. If he didn't, then he's tracking the same thing here. What he means by that is this. If you think that the very first song you're going to write is a hit song, you're probably going to be disappointed because it usually doesn't work like that. Usually you have to write Many, many, many songs. My wife said, you write 100 songs to write one great song, and then you write 100 great songs to write an excellent song. Okay, so it's that. There's a lot of crappy songs. So you just, what I do with my songs when I write is I just don't settle. I've got a lot of unfinished songs, but I have some that are finished as well. But I just don't settle. I say, I'm not happy with that, and I'm not going to play it unless that song makes me happy. So maybe I'll hand it to somebody else and say, what can you do with this? I'm stuck here. I have no inspiration anymore. I've sat on this song for 10 years or whatever. And then, bringing in co-writers is a great thing. My wife could write songs all day long by herself. But the reason why you want to bring a co-writer is because they help with the editing process. Usually one person will be like, okay, guy walks into a bar and he meets a gal and he, whatever, and they're just throwing out ideas, and the other person's writing stuff down and going, yeah, but what happens if we went in this direction? So you got somebody who's editing, and you got someone who's just spitting out ideas, right? And that's what a good songwriting team can do, is that you got one person who's just unbridled in their creativity. You got the other person who bridles them a little bit, and you can switch back and forth, but it's a great thing to do, because if everybody's bridled, it's going to be a boring-ass song, right? There's not going to be any sort of risk-taking. Boo. Boring, right? Do something cool. Do something new. We've heard lots and lots of songs. We've heard thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of them, so do something new. It's okay. But not just new, do something cool and new, right? Because just because you're doing something new doesn't mean that people are going to like it. And that's what, unfortunately, a lot of artists do, is they do that. It doesn't work. Okay, riff, approach, or chords. Depends what you want. Either. It literally is 100% subjective. Okay, during the Gulf War, I wrote sarcastic lyrics to Helen Reddy's Ain't No Way to Treat a Lady. Kind of weird. Ow. Is it copyright infringement to sing or publish it? Mine was Ain't No Way to Treat Kuwait. So I'll give you a basic idea of what this is. So like when someone writes a song for a publisher, then they have, I think, what's called first right of refusal. So like if someone else wants to record the song, they can say, we haven't recorded it yet. And no one can do that unless they allow them to, unless there's some sort of, contractual bit that they could do that with. Otherwise, once the song is performed by that artist or that publishing company, then it's free game after that. And you can record the song, etc. Sometimes you if you were going to perform it on TV or something like that, you might have to get explicit permission. But if you're just recording it, they're not going to. I don't think anybody's going to come after you. Now, when you start making money, people will come after you. Okay. My YouTube channel is a perfect example of that. When I didn't have any followers, I could do whatever I want. As soon as I started getting followers, they're like, now, wait a minute. What are you doing over there? I'm teaching your song so that they can play it and people will buy your records. I know, what a terrible thing to do. Dominic is saying, if I try to make good melodies, I noted that I have to stay within the box of the current key I'm playing. But how would you put a melody in the next key, also in considering of later chords? Thank you. I still don't understand what you're saying, my friend. I don't understand that whatsoever. If I try to make good melodies, I noted that I have to stay within the box of the current key I'm playing in. When you mean box, you mean the subset of notes. So you call it whatever you want, a box, a form. It's the notes within the key, right? Call it whatever you want. It's the notes. So if you're playing on a piano in the key of C, it's the white keys. That's it. Okay. If it's in the key of G, then it's all the white keys, but the F is sharp. So there are rules to being in a particular key. So yes, you would need to keep within that key if you want it to sound like it was in that key. Otherwise, you would do what's called temporary modulation, transmutation, modulation, there's lots of different words for it. Borrowed chords, your temporary temporarily changing keys. I'm so excited I'm spitting here. But how would you put a melody in the next key? I don't know what you mean by next key. What does that mean? Also in consideration of later chords. What do you mean by later chords? Sorry, Dominic. I wish I understood what you were saying there. Thank you, Jill, for the kind donation. Super sweet. Okay, beautiful. Kind of surfer dude vibe happening here. Yeah. Well, I'm from Cocoa Beach, and I was a surfer, and I still am, so yeah, makes sense. Could you define briefly the particularities of a ballad song, for example? Okay, ballads are usually slower. They're usually more epic. They're hanging on that ride cymbal. Big choruses. Couldn't be in a major key or a minor key, but usually ballads are slowed down, big choruses type of thing. Other than that, there's really... we're pigeonhole or we're narrowing down. That's really what a ballad is. It's a slow, big anthemic song typically, Hey, YJS, been a subscriber for 10 plus years. Beautiful. Love that, friend. Still rocking and you're killing it. Well done. Thank you, friend. Love it. Finally got here. Did I miss anything important? Scott. Yes, of course you did. Sage, can you explain the difference between playing double speed and double tempo, please? Just want to make sure. It's the same thing. I mean, if you're just, if I'm doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I guess we could say that's double speed, but one might also say that's double tempo. But the tempo is just what the metronome is, right? You wouldn't have to change that because it's tick, 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 tick. The tempo's not changing. What I'm playing is changing. Makes sense? Cool. All right. How do you not run out of video ideas? I'm close to it. No, there's just an infinite number of things that one can talk about with music. So it's an infinite number of things. It's just so much cool stuff, Thank you, though, Krusty Moons. Appreciate that. What number of chord when you start on a chorus or bridge with as opposed to the verse? Well, here's the number, not the number you started the verse on, not the number you started the chorus on. IMO. In my opinion, that's what to do. If you want the ear to immediately know that you're going to a new place in the song, if you want to bring them someplace different, don't start on the chord that you started the verse off with. Don't start the chord that you started the chorus off with, in my opinion. Wouldn't it be nice to use the circle of fifths to write a song? Yes, it's done all the time in jazz. A lot of chord progressions in jazz are very much written around. They're written around that. Okay, so like when you hear like that. When they do that move where you're going down in fifths, which happens all the time in jazz, that's what they're doing. Okay. Yeah, I know he wants to know about transposing the chord melody, but there has to be some legs on that. It doesn't give me enough to work with there, friends. Sorry. Ryan Reynolds, I get that a lot. I also get James Hetfield. I'm stuck playing cowboy chords and pentatonic. How do I work on the next step? Rodney, nothing wrong with cowboy chords and the pentatonic. It makes up 99% of the stuff that you're hearing. That said, Rodney, get in the Unstoppable Guitar System. I give it to you for free, starting off the standard. Get in there first, and that'll guide you. You got to learn is what you got to do. Learn from the other 1,500 videos that I have here on YouTube. But that's where you want to go, my friend. Marine Mama, thank you so much for the donation. Super, super kind. All right, I'm stuck. Okay, so we got that one. I'm going backwards here. How can you protect your song from others stealing it and claim it's theirs? You can't. So you can copyright a song, which just means that song goes into the Library of Congress, which it might as well be a big hole in the center of the earth. Unless they need to get it out again, then they'll know where to get it. But then you got to prove it. And as we've learned, having proof doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just doesn't. In Nashville, people steal songs. I say people steal songs all the time. There's a few very famous songwriters that steal songs all the time. But because they're in the know and they got the friends that they're writing other songs with and they're all making millions of dollars, they kind of look the other way. But there are names that if you follow songwriters, if I mentioned names to you, you would just be dumbfounded. And when I say names, literally I'm talking about one particular guy who's doing it over and over and over and over and over again. There's others, but there's one particular guy who does it over and over and over again. And it's not cool, man. You're literally stealing from somebody. Have you ever heard a melody in your dreams that you've never heard before and then put it in a song? Drew, I thought I did. And then the next day, because I have this little device on I can talk into my watch and it records it. So I'll do that. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, this is the best melody in the world. And then I listen to it the next morning and it's like, and I'm like, what in the hell was that? So I don't even know what I'm singing. So yeah, I mean, I thought that I have, and I don't think there was probably something there that was going to change the world. I could be wrong, but if so, I've yet to actually get it off the tape and onto my guitar and into my voice. Can an electric guitar not be compatible with an amp? Mine sounds like shit. No. I've never heard of such a thing. No, an amp, you plug it in, it's 1/4 inch, and you plug it in, and it's 1/4 inch, and you go. So no, I've never heard of that. At what stage should I make the transition from acoustic to electric? Right now. I want an electric guitar now, but have only had an acoustic. Yeah, do it right now. That's when to do it. If you're asking, now's the time. So I hear people say in the key of G. What exactly does that mean? Watch the beginning of the program, Auto Brand. I talked about that for about 10 minutes. Sometimes when I don't feel like playing guitar, I am not able to play up to my full potential. I make mistakes, and I am not able to reach my full speed. Does it happen with everyone? Absolutely everyone. There's nobody in here that doesn't happen to. Doesn't that make everybody feel great? This poor guy thinks that it's just him. It's everybody. There's nobody who doesn't feel that way. Even the greats. Even the greats. Money for nothing. Dire Straits. Capo position? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's using a capo there, but maybe he is. I don't know. I'm sure someone's teaching that on YouTube. Wouldn't it be best to store the guitar in a case instead of on the wall for longevity? If the case is humidified, if you have something in there, otherwise it doesn't really matter that much more. Also, well, I mean, yeah, sure, kids and dogs won't be able to bump it off the wall. Yes, there's some truth to that. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of songwriting during lockdown. I'm relatively new to it. Would anyone in Nashville offer constructive criticism on my songs? Indeed. The Nashville Songwriters Association Incorporated. They will do that, Jim. NSAI, Nashville Songwriters Association International. Not incorporated, international. NSAI. They will do it. I've had them listen to songs before. Yeah, well, I think we're about finishing up here. Man, a burrito does sound good today. Burrito sound good, Mike?
Yeah, we should.
Try to make good. Okay, I think I've gotten to all of them. I'm going to go right to the bottom here real quick just to make sure there's no last minuters. Yep, okay. Please demonstrate a slide from 2 to 7. Okay, there you go. And address string noise. So Willie, what I'm doing when I slide, I've got my my right hand muting. So Willie, you're in the course, you know that. Search muting in there, because I talk about right hand muting, left hand muting. It's all awkward for everyone at first. Why is it okay for Weird Al Yankovic to parody Michael Jackson's I'm Fat, I'm Bad reference to the question about Helen Reddy or whoever? There is nothing different about that loss. You totally can do it. What I said was the very first time has to be done by the person who wrote the song or the publishing company, whoever owns it or controls it. But after that, yes, you can do it. Okay. Sometimes you have to ask for permission, and I don't know under what rules, but I've heard of people like "Don't Stand So Close to Me." They were using that for a British deodorant commercial, and the police made them take it down or something. And I guess they've got, somehow you got power to do that. Oh, I know why. They were using the original track. So different scenario there. But yeah, no, there's nothing different. You can do it. That's what I said. Sometimes when I don't feel like playing guitar, I'm not able to play it up to, okay, we talked about that one. Cool, 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 cool. Yes. Oh, yay. Good. Pam just picked up Jeff Duke's course for $9.99 on Udemy, loving Robbie Calvo's. So looking forward to the course with Jeff. Yay. Yay. Love that, Pam. Thank you so much. Friends, second link below. If you want 83% off the rock rhythm course that we just created with Jeff Duke, it's amazing, great player. Check it out, second link below. It'll be 83%, it's 83% off right now. Or wait and get it when it's full price. I'm thinking of taking off the low E and A strings on my guitar so that I can force myself to work more on the top 4 strings. Ever do that? Nope. I just wouldn't play them. Who are your three favorite inspiring guitarists? Oh my gosh. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Yngwie Malmsteen. Gosh. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. Django Reinhardt, he's amazing. Any tips on finding good tone? Yeah, there's lots of them. There's lots of them. You get inside the program. It's not any, get good equipment, play well, practice a lot, hang around people who have good tone, get good cables, get good pedals, get good amps, get good guitars, get old guitars, get good speakers. Work on your chain, lots of them. Sorry, that's just like a really big question. Can you trust the NSA not to steal your songs? I mean, they're professionals, but that doesn't mean anything, right? We live in a world where people break the law and they get away with it. So, I mean, I don't think they're in the mood to do that. They're in the business of doing that. Also, you'd have to have a song that was good enough to do that. So, and there's lots and lots and lots of competition in Nashville. It's so hard to get a song recorded in Nashville these days. So absolutely hard that if someone's writing a song from, just coming in and they're not a professional songwriter, the chances of them having that hit song, I know they feel like it's that hit song, but not say anything negative towards you, but it's just like once you hear the caliber of songs that are being produced in Nashville, you'll realize that, someone's going to steal something if it's good, right? But they're probably not going to steal something even if it's free and it's not good. Okay. What type of music is going to be in Jeff Duke's class? It's rock rhythm guitar. Okay. Eric, how fast can you play? Not very. How many songwriters use piano compose songs, but chords are not sound same on guitar? How to transpose them? Don't know what that means. Sorry. Okay. I'm done. Hurry up. Get out of here. I'm trying. Here we go. I just have this thing. I got to get to the end of them. Do I like John Mayer? Yeah, he's a beast. And he's super funny. Great player. I wouldn't date him, though. Okay, that's it, friends. We're out of here. Friends, real quick, very first link below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Get in that daggone course. It's free, and it's going to guide you. And I don't ask anything of you. I give you something. But it's literally the top 30-something lessons that I've ever taught. Will absolutely change the way you think about guitar, I promise you. Had over 500,000 people take those videos already, take those lessons. Number 2, second link below, is the course that is 83% off, or more than 83% off today, Jeff Duke's Rock Rhythm course. You will absolutely love this, friends, absolutely love it. Get in there, dig in, second link below. You can always text me. If you're in UGS already, text me, 833-744-0154, 833-744-0154, right there, and text me and say UGS. Then this way you'll be on the text thread when it's time. If you would like the free course and you are in a doctor's office right now and you don't have time to go to the website, then text free to that same number right there. I'll set you up with it. Okay, friends? Love you guys. You rule. I'll see ya.